What's good, beautiful people? It's your main man, Big G, here on Industry Talk, and welcome to Primetime Pod, the hottest information resource outlet for all things entertainment, breaking news, celebrity interviews, and the hot topics of the day. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on all social media platforms, our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, you name it, we're on it. Just Google us. Boss Talk Podcast 101 Primetime.
Do shit. Prime time vibe. Make sure you check it
Superpower. Why the fuck you think he missing? He's 84.
Yeah, and second bill a whole lot.
Now I'm not trying to get a little messy with you.
Time is money.
They go trap.
What's good? What's good? What's good, beautiful people? It's your main man, Big G, coming at you all the way live. Make sure all my devices are good to go. Y'all can see me, talk to me. If you got any questions, comments, or concerns, hit me up. Hit me up on any of the platforms: Facebook, IG, YouTube, you name it, we own it. But I'm coming to you today just for a little bit. I had an interview. I had an interview scheduled with the police chief, but as you know, things get fluid in law enforcement. So we'll reschedule that date and that time to sit down and talk with Police Chief Don Ho Moore about him being appointed to chief here in the Stonewall area, and get a little background on what his plans are for the future, and um, congratulate him for his appointment. So I definitely look forward to getting that opportunity to sit down with um, Police Chief Don Moore one of these days. We're going to have to definitely reschedule because I was definitely looking forward to taking the opportunity to talk about the future of the city, his plans, his vision, his ideas about public safety, and you know, uplifting the community under his new leadership. Miss Penny Walker has been elected as mayor in the city of Stonewall, and Don Moore has accepted the position of chief of the city after the um, previous chief went through some medical issues. Prayers go out to him and his family, but he suffered um, a heart attack, had triple bypass surgery, and of course, when he came back, he made the decision to go ahead on and retire. So when we get this opportunity here soon, it was scheduled for today, but here soon, I'll get back with Chief Moore so that we can lock in that interview and talk about the state of the city and what he has planned for for the future. So while we are here, while we're here in studio, you know me, I do not waste time and I do not miss an opportunity to get on here and talk a little bit to you about what's going on. So I'm going to start out with, of course, inviting. Let me get this up there right quick. I want to invite everyone that is interested to become a part of my book club, the Industry Talk Book Club. You can um, submit your name and phone number to client support at gmsit.org, and let's get into it. You know, we'll do a week to week. Once we have the group intact, and everyone has ordered their books because that's a part of it. I can go down the list of the ground rules of what we're going to do with the book club. But in a nutshell, week to week, we'll sit here virtually. We'll pick a specific day that everyone is available to sit in and review the books that we've selected and battled around virtually, online, live, to give other individuals an opportunity to chime in, to participate, and to have some fun with us as we review some of the books that we're going to actually jump off into. Um, One of the first books, if in fact you are interested, and you may need to go ahead on and grab the book, Financial Literacy for All by John Hope Bryant will be one of the books that we're going to start off with. Um, and we're going to go in depth online, virtually, week to week, and break down chapter for chapter, bar for bar, what it is that Mr. John Hope Bryant is putting down in his book, Financial Literacy for All. So keep that in mind. If you're interested in joining the book club, hit me up, client support at gemsit.org. You should see the graphic on the screen. And like I said, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. And I'm a real component of reading. That's just it, man. I'm reading is fun. Reading is fundamental. So I speak about it because our literacy rate is in the tank, state for state. It's not just Mississippi, state for state. We're dealing with kids that are having issues with comprehension. And so that stems directly back to the fundamentals of, learning how to read, picking up a book and knowing the phonetics and knowing how to process what it is that you're reading. So this is one way to kickstart the the idea and the principles that reading is actually fun, and we're going to make it fun. We're going to make it exciting and interesting. So we're going to do it in a group. I like to read alone in my sanctum sanctorum, away from just extra noise, and I get into my safe quiet space, and I enjoy reading. But I've found that a lot of times, um, people have a hard time doing things individually, by themselves. So we're going to incorporate the group component, the virtual group component, whereas a group of individuals can get together and discuss what they're reading and how they feel about it, what they're going to pull out of it. How do we take what we learn and apply it to our lives? So the books that we're going to read, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be either motivational, um, financial literacy based books. I'm not really into um, fiction or hyperbole or books that, I like science fiction just like anyone else, but I'm more along the lines of the educational component and how we take what we read and process it in a correct fashion so that we can apply it in our lives and actually do something positive with what we've educated ourselves with. So if I'm going to actually take something and gain something out of it, I'm going to take that tool and use it to further everything that I envision, I believe, and I want to get done in my life. So um, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind as we move along. So if you are interested, like I said, if you're interested in becoming a member of the book club, hit me up. Send me your information via email to client support at gemsit.org, and let's do a deep dive and get off into it. And another one of the books that uh, we will definitely. My apologies. Let me come out of this. and we will jump off into as well. A good friend of mine, my sister, Tiffany Gaines, has her book out, Shared Success Blueprint, the Shared Success Blueprint. We will definitely jump off into this book, The Shared Success Blueprint by Tiffany Gaines. Okay. Um, and and like I said, we'll do a deep dive. So you're going to have to order the books. I'm showing you some of these things so that you understand. I want you to go buy the books that I mentioned to you, and give yourself a head start, because once you join the group, I'm going to ask you to buy the books. I will not run off copies of these books because, number one, I support the authors that have written these books, and the way that I show my support is by purchasing the book, reading the book, and discussing the book on our book club. So definitely think about going out and grabbing um, Tiffany's book, because this is going to be one of our reads here soon. Once we get through Financial Literacy for All, we will be reading The Shared Success Blueprint by Miss Tiffany Gaines. Okay? Um, and I'd appreciate that. Anyone that is interested. Like I said, my title, which I will change because I didn't change it prior to coming on, is with um, Police Chief Don Moore. We were supposed to be sitting in studio today with him to discuss a few things, but like I said, with police work, everything is fluid. So I'm sure he is um, caught up on the job at the moment. So we will reschedule that and get that in play here soon enough as well. But while I have you here, let's talk about some of the things that we have coming down the pipeline. I've been in talks with um, my brother JB, Jarrell Braswell, and I don't want to I don't want to get this young man's name wrong, but he is a hot Southern soul artist out of Louisiana. Um, we've been working on getting our Trail Ride Southern Soul um, um, festival kicked off, and we're working out all of the logistics. So I know that Adrian will be coming in. We have Benito Glosson coming in out of Arkansas with his hit single Guatemala. Um, we're working on projected dates, location, and then, of course, once we start the rollout, we're going to incorporate a lot of different elements to this. So you're going to have a Southern Soul Festival with a touch of comedy, because, of course, my man JB is going to sit there and kill the stage with some comedy, hosting the event, and bringing it full circle. Because we want everybody to come out and have a good time. Bring your chairs, bring your ATVs, um, bring your ass basically, and come have a really good time when we set everything in motion. It's an outdoor event, so be prepared for outdoors. Wear your boots, wear your Daisy Dukes, wear what you got to wear to come have a good time. Bring your picnic blankets, bring your coolers, um, and just enjoy the opportunity for community to come together and listen to some awesome music, some great music throughout the day. Have vendors that are around that can help you fill your stomach. We have the jump houses and different things that are being placed for the kids to have a great time and in a safe space. So we're going to position ourselves to where it's cordoned off, and there's no obstructions from anything outside coming in to disturb us from having a great time and a great festival. So yes, I've been working with, I want to say his name is Adrian Bagler. Man, I don't know. I don't want to mess that kid's name up, but he's one of the top Southern soul artists coming out of the southern region, Louisiana. I also need to reach out to my man Gip, Big Gip, and see if we can bring Sky Watley into town. Him and Sky Watley, you know, they got that Auntie Love that didn't hit the charts, and they're doing real well. So we're gonna see if we can get a nice combination of some um, hot celebrities to come into the region to put on a great show for us, and have some fun with us here in Mississippi. Because whether you realize it or not, man, I always say this when I jump on this thing. I'm all about the South. I'm all about Mississippi. I love every other region in the world that I've touched down on, but born and bred in Mississippi, I have a true affinity for what takes place in the state of Mississippi. I want to see the growth of Mississippi touch the heights that it's supposed to touch because of who we are traditionally as a people. You know, this has nothing to do with color at this point. This has something to do with the humanitarian side of of who we are as people. You know, um, I don't care where you are in terms of your place in life. We're in a position in this world, present day, where commerce and the economy and how you're managing your money and how you're making money is very important. People say, "Oh man, money ain't." No. Don't get it twisted. You need money to survive, or you need some means of being able to create revenue to survive. And when people talk to you about the express need of not having it or not needing it or not, man, they out their fucking mind. And don't let people trick you out of your position in terms of how you live your life day to day. And I tell folks this all the time. I don't try to convince folks of anything. I present my platform, I present to you what it is that I do, and I do it at a high level, whether it's working with talent, whether it's working with artists, whether it's investment real estate, um, my lawn care business, bush hogging, you know, whatever it is that I do, contract negotiations, whatever it is that I do on a regular day to day basis to create revenue to take care of my family, then that's what I'm going to do. And what works for someone else, damn sure ain't gonna work for me. But I know that over time, I've fucked up enough in my life. I'm just, you know, it just is what it is. I've made enough mistakes or I've had enough failures in my life to know what it is that I need to do to correct the ship and move in true fashion in the right direction in the right way. That's why I'm a true component of not fucking over people when I do business, doing business the right way, putting all the cards on the table and making sure that both parties, because they say in negotiations, nobody ever wins. Well, with me in negotiations, I want all parties to win. We're going to hash this shit out until everyone gets to a happy medium to where, yes, this is going to work for me. And if we get to a point to where you've tried to impose something that would throw things off, you know, because I compromise, but I don't compromise to the point to where, you know, I didn't hurt myself. But if I see that you're just playing the game to get over, well, then you know you've pretty much done that to yourself, and that's what happens a lot of times with me and people in business. I don't do anything to them or to the business or the construct of working a successful business model. People aren't patient because I believe in delayed gratification, not instant gratification. People have no true business plan or a plan at all on how to live their lives. And I cannot express or show folks what it is that I do because I don't move around in fancy cars. I don't dress fancy. I don't do all this extra shit that you think people that have it are supposed to do. No, I'm a very conscious individual when it comes to how I move and how I handle my business. And my family will tell you that. They will tell you that because I don't believe that it has to be flash. No, it has to make some sense. When I talk about my 401k, when I talk about investing in stocks and bonds, I'm serious, but I'm talking about what I do. When I'm talking about instituting trusts, not only for my family, but for my kids, so that they'll know one day, hey, there's something there that's been left not only for me, but for my kids' kids, and my kids' kids' kids. Because I'm not just thinking about my kids right now. I'm thinking about my grandkids and my grandkids' kids, and so forth and so on. So, how do you put something in motion to protect that? You see, so if we're not talking along those lines, if we're not talking about, and everybody throws that shit out there, oh man, get you some life insurance. Yeah, I believe, yeah, you put all of those things into place. They should be in place. Your estate plan should be pretty straightforward. But then there are a lot of caveats that come into play with business that have nothing to do with how you run your day to day life. And I operate in the business realm, not just day to day life. So when people come to me and they ask me, and we sit down and we go through counsel and we talk about how do we level up, or how do we get you from one step to the next. And as I'm expressing to them the blueprint, motherfuckers get to falling asleep and looking at their phone and pay attention, because I'm not your delivery guy. I'm not the guy that's gonna wow you and hoop and holler. No, I'm gonna give it to you as it is, how it's supposed to be, and this is a methodology based on the analytics that we've pulled from you, from what you're trying to get accomplished, not what I see, but what you're trying to get accomplished, and the best way to get you from point A to point B. It's boring. It's boring as hell. Because there's no way that you're just gonna snap your fingers and shit just magically happens. And then you have to implement the blueprint and the plan and execute. So if you're not in the business of doing that in your regular day to day, man, miss me with that bullshit. And that's real talk. Because you're not going to do anything but waste my time, which I'm not going to allow you to do. But the true reality is you have to look in the mirror and realize that you're wasting your own damn time. You're putting yourself at risk of failure because you don't want to be motivated enough to do what it is that you need to do for you. Ain't no crying over spilled milk. Shit happens in life, whether it's tragic, fatal, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of things that actually put us into a position whereas we think that the world is just beating us up and there's no way of getting out of the hole that we're in. Well, one way to get out of the hole is, number one, to stop fucking digging. You got to stop digging. And I didn't get on this thing. I didn't get on this thing. What's going on, Brother Gregor Barabino? I didn't get on this thing to how can I say it? Because I really don't give a damn about the brashness or the harshness of how I come across. I don't give a damn about monetization, simply because I'm not trying to appeal to people about what it is that I do. I'm 54 years old. I'm still living, and I'm now at this point in my life trying to give folks information that can assist them. And I'm learning that I can't sit there and just give y'all shit for free. And I don't do shit for free. Once you learn a little bit about me and you lock in a consultation with me, you know that my rates are astronomical. It's not cheap fucking with me. It's like comparing uh, um, a Bentley to a Yugo. If you want Yugo, you go get you a Yugo. I used to own a Yugo. That's why I mentioned it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't tripping. I'm just saying, a $2,000 vehicle versus a 200,000, 300,000, $500,000 vehicle is going to be a luxury ride versus compact vehicle ride. So Think about that as you're moving through your life and you're dealing with people and how they deal with you and your time, how they deal with what it is that you do and your professionalism that you bring to a situation. If they can't see your value and through what you've done and what you express and what you bring to the table, if they can't, you know, envision it as you put it out there to them, as you display it to them, then you need to appeal to a different audience because they're never going to get it. They don't want to get it. That's why when I sit there and I speak with people, it's not about me. It's about them. It's 100% about them. What can we do to make your vision come to life? And so if you want to talk about um, videography, cinematography, photography, and getting our film crews out to your locations to bring out the lights and the high definition cameras that shoot in 4K, the drones and things like this. Um, I'm not going to sit there and tell you that I can do it for pennies on the dollar when film studios don't even have some of the things. Some film studios, the people that act like they have film or production studios, don't have the equipment and the access to staffers, cameramen, you know, lightmen or women, whatever the case may be. They don't have access to making these things happen. And so when you tell them, hey man, this is what the rate is, this is what the cost is, people look at you like you're crazy. When in fact you've given folks deals. A standard, a standard crew to come out, a one man crew, one man, one camera, lighting, the whole 9 yards, depending on the time frame and where. I mean, just to kick that off is a $2,500 job, just getting that person to a location, and we make sure that we get folks out to different locations. That's just for 1 hour, 1.5 hours for them to come film whatever it is that you need. So, and that doesn't include post production. And that's when it comes to the filming side of it, because we do post production as well when we film, and whether it's a wedding, whether it's a music video, or any of the, you know, those are some of the lower rates. But you're talking about large scale production. If I was to bring in a GMAC or a Terrell for sale or Knowledge, Search Chosen Knowledge out of Florida, man, these guys, come on, just on hourly rates alone. If I was to break it down hourly rates alone, these guys are charging anywhere from $350 to $500 an hour just to be on the site location for production to film, because these guys are traveling from all over the place, California, um, Atlanta, Florida. You know, it's 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 just awesome to see some of the folks that I've actually been dealing with, and then you begin to realize you've been lowballing yourself based on what it is that you're producing. I'm just talking about the film side of it. We're not talking about real estate. We're not talking about um, um, branding or helping someone with their artistry or taking an artist down the checklist of how to secure their intellectual property. We're not even talking about that. We're talking about the film industry at this point. And it was a crazy segue because I wasn't even supposed to be here talking about this. We are supposed to be doing an interview with Police Chief Don Moore today. We'll reschedule that interview. I'm sure Chief Moore got kind of tied up and busy. But so since I'm here, we're going to talk about this film industry, right? And everybody wants to be in the mix with film and um, putting their ideas out to the public. Okay, well, if it's an idea and you haven't created the treatment or written it out or have some type of whiteboard saying this is what you're trying to get accomplished, then it's just up here, then it's just that. It's just that. So and you can ask some of the artists that I've dealt with, and they want to do music videos and they want to do different skits or whatever the case may be. Okay, what's the treatment? Because I can't sit there and imagine or pretend to imagine what it is that you're trying to get accomplished out of what you see happening for your music video or what it is that you're trying to get done. And so we have to be faced with the fact that people aren't, and I made mention to this the other day in my last episode, about being creative, original, using your imagination to take you so far beyond, and then putting it into movie form or into film and releasing it to the public. See, that takes thought, that takes timing, that takes a commitment and being motivated. And for you to think that someone is going to just sit there and pull your ideas out of your brain without any kind of forward thought to it or any kind of, no, man, you can't just improv everything. Improvisation is one part of it, but within the creative spirit, but you can't improv everything. So that's why the really awesome, the really good action packed movies or the really good sitcoms, they have great writers. They have folks that sit there and take the time to write out the backstory, to bring in all the elements of a character. And then it takes the actor or actress, um, um, taking their time to study and really embellishing and jumping into who that character may be, you see. And then once you've jumped into, reading and comprehending who that character is, full throttle, can you jump into the spirit of that character and bring that character to life on camera? Because it's one thing to have your own voice, but when you hear Morgan Freeman's voice, and I'm using Morgan Freeman as an example, great Mississippian to me. When you hear Morgan Freeman's voice, you see him in so many different roles, playing so many different characters, but his voice stands out. Denzel Washington, his voice stands out. He has his own voice, but as he acts through what he acts through, as he puts on that performance, that stellar performance that we all want to see and all want to pay attention to, because his vernacular, his pitch, his tone, everything that he presents to the camera is penetrating you. That energy penetrates you. You feel the facial expressions. You feel the tonality of the voice. You feel the moment. You see, so when you capture that, when you have a director that can sit behind the camera and capture that essence, then you're dealing with a total different animal. And if you don't sit there and micromanage and compartmentalize your mind to have a true understanding of what the world around you is going through when you ask them about something, can you assist me with this? And your motivation is lackadaisical or apathetic, then how can you expect the director or a venture capitalist or someone that is interested in really assisting you or can be that component or the catalyst to your success to assist you when you don't want to even assist yourself? And I've come across that. And so I'm not in a position to pull you along to win. There's no way. I'll never get to the finish line first if I'm pulling you along to win. And you damn sure bet I'm that type of person. I like to win. I don't like losing. You see, losing and failure is two different things. Keep that in mind. You can lose a race. That doesn't mean that you're a failure. You see. But I don't like to lose. I get really disgruntled, upset if I lose because obviously there was something that I didn't do. I don't give a damn how much better someone thinks they are. No, there's something that I didn't do to prepare myself to win. So now I have to go back to the drawing board and reconstruct, reevaluate, film study, and get a true understanding of what I did and what I need to do to get myself to the level to where I can win the next time I meet the same competitor. Because I'm going to run across that competitor again, whether it's human, whether it's an entity, whatever the case may be, you're going to face your demons. And so I want to be ready to win because I do not like to lose. So in the film industry, in this space that I'm in, present day, with being behind the camera and directing and talking to folks about a lot of different things in terms of how to succeed in this industry, I've noticed that, and even some A-list celebrities that I've had opportunity to talk to, and I'm not trying to put their business out there or anything, they don't have it all together. They don't. They don't have it all together. You know, and to sit there and think that, and I want people to dismiss that as you move along in your life. Don't think that because you see somebody in a good position, you just see it. Don't be hypnotized by some of these motherfuckers out here. Just because you see them in a good position, that does not mean that they're in a good position. They play good roles. They're good characters. You see? And when they step from behind this camera and they go off into their regular lives, some of them are really struggling. So this internet shit, to a large degree, is fantasy. What we try to present to our people is reality. The reality of how to get things done, the reality of hard work, the reality of dedication and commitment, loyalty, honesty, all of the things, all of the tenets and things that you want, all of the components that you want, right? An individual on the other side to feel for you, you see, it's supposed to be a two-way street. And I hear a lot of conversations now, whereas people are taking the emotions out of the business. I understand that. Truly, I do. And it makes a lot of sense. But there again, if we're doing business together and I don't have any emotions or there's a lack of emotion for you, then I don't want to do business with you. I don't want to do business with an individual that I don't have a relationship with, a true relationship with, something real. I don't need fly by night friends. I don't need fly by night investment partners or anything along the line. No, I don't need none of that shit. I need people that are serious about wanting to get something done. Because if you're serious about wanting to get something done, that means that you're going to invest your time, your efforts, your energies, your monies into whatever it is that we endeavor upon, and we're going to get it completed. So a lot of times people come and they gung ho, they're eager, and it's a money grab. Man, I ain't got no money to give you. You can ask anybody I deal, man. I ain't got shit to give you. We can go make some money together, but if you're not on that train with me, and if you're not ready to help me push the product and the things that I've already got in place and things that I've got going, and you don't want to be a part of what we're doing, and you're coming to the table with nothing, you get the fuck away from me. Real talk. Don't even call me. Don't even find yourself in a position to be like, oh yeah, man, G, I'm ready to do. I'm ready to work, baby. I'm ready to get it. Okay, what you got, man? What we gonna do? What's the plan? What is your executable? And as soon as we get into discussion and you can't bring nothing to the table, and then you have an attitude about the things that I would like to see getting done because you don't have the vision, you don't have the wherewithal or the knowledge on how to get started. Oh, yeah, yeah, I deal with it. I deal with it. I even deal with people that have um, all kinds of resources, knowledge, and but they don't want to yield to understanding. You're not unto your own understanding because I put my faith in God, my friend. Trust and believe. There's nothing that supersedes that for me. So I'm never in a position to where I'm 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 too self-righteous to learn or I know too much. No, I learn something every day. But you can best believe a broke motherfucker can't show me or teach me how to get rich or wealthy. An individual that has bad money management habits and skills cannot show me the way. An individual that can't read and comprehend cannot show me how to read. You can't teach me the methodology of how to read. So there's nothing different when it comes to when you're listening to individuals on this fucking idiot box with somebody sitting behind the camera just talking shit to you, and I'm one of them. But I tell you all the time, don't just take what I say verbatim. I want you to go fact check and research and do some extra research on the shit that I present to you. 9 out of 10, these folks don't know what the hell they talk about, man. You guys are listening to financial gurus and investment specialists and people that are telling you this is how you go get this money real quick. Go do this, and man, I can put $50,000 to $100,000 in your pocket overnight. Man, just don't let folks, like I said, trick you out your position, man. Don't. There's nothing that happens overnight. It's not something that just you snap your fingers and this shit just appears. Money doesn't grow on a tree until you plant the fucking seed. So if you are not sowing the seed, if you're not planting the seed, there is no tree, there is no financial tree, there is no money tree that will grow. And when you're planting the seeds, when I'm talking about planting that seed, if you are not taking your revenue, the income that's coming in, and you're living beneath or below, so far beneath your means that is ridiculous. And then you're taking percentages of your monies and putting it into vehicles that will help you make more money, regardless of what those investments are. I'm not sitting here trying to tell you what those investments should be. I'm just telling you there are some things that you're supposed to put in place that are structured and sound to make sure that you win. Compound interest is a motherfucker. But if you just put your money in the bank at 4%, it ain't gonna do nothing. I don't give a damn how long it's sitting there in the savings account. So if you're not dealing with HIBAs, high interest bearing accounts, if you're not dealing with stocks that can fluctuate in terms of percentage rates that's paid on the dollar, then miss me with that. If you're not buying securities bonds, treasury bonds, miss me with anything that you're talking about. Because the only thing that you're doing is figuring out how to take money out of my pocket, not how to help me save the money that I have. And the money that I have saved is not for spend, it's for save. That's the whole point of save, so that it can compound. And then you constantly take percentages and put towards the save. And you watch it grow. And you figure out different investments to help your portfolio expand. If you're talking about leveling up, if people are talking about leveling up, then what are you leveling up from? I wouldn't give a damn if you were selling damn frosty cups. There's a surefire method for you to succeed selling those Frosty cups. So the quality of work exceeds the quantity. And so when I sit there and tell you what my rates are, I don't give a damn what you think in your mind or where you figure I'm supposed to give you a fair deal, whatever the case may be. No, I'm giving it to you based on what it is that I know I'm worth. Um, and just to say the least, I don't like bragging. I don't like, talking a whole lot of shit about accomplishments, but um, everything that I've done that's on full display through my life, the good, the bad, the ugly, you can see it. You can see it. I have a pretty sound track record. Even the bumps in the road, a sound track record. And I've never sat there and said that my whole situation was perfect. But I know that through hard work, time, dedication, and look, I could go as far back as how we even kicked this whole thing off. Has nothing to do with Jim's IT, which has always been a fundamental business of ours, family structure. But we can go back to when my kids were in high school. Like, really, if you want to know where the structure of everything has really evolved from, because, before my kids were born, I worked for the Department of Defense. A lot of you may not know that. I was a computer specialist um, for the DOD. I used to travel overseas from Bahrain, Dubai, the UAE, Senegal, you name it. I was in different places working, predominantly hotspots back then, working for the DOD. Um, so, structure was always been there. I went to the University of the Virgin Islands in St. Thomas. Hello to all my people down in UVI, down in St. Thomas. Um, so don't think that I'm just coming from a place of, just old guy talking. No, I've walked through what I would consider my flames. Okay. So when I say I can take you back to the structure of the wind system, the wind system in a group of young men that actually saved my life. These kids saved my life. I've turned this into a whole different talk situation, but when I talk about a Christian Vontour or um, um, Austin Alexander, Cheese, his little brother, um, uh, Kyrie Hodges, and Darius Wyman, a Traylon Lewis. Um, I'm just giving you the rundown of these kids, man, because there's a lot that comes with it. Um, uh, Jalen Wilson, um, man, I don't want to miss none of these kids, man. But you know where I'm going. Willie Moody, Chris Moody's son. I'm sorry, Chris Moody. Willie, yeah, my man Chris Moody. Or Estopper, Chris Estopper, Chris Moody, same person. Um, McCall, Wyman. I could give you a list of individuals, man, that were a part of my life that helped save my life. The Elite Heat situation and the kids that came over from Gulfport to work out and us going over to Gulfport and being on the Elite Heat squad. But it wasn't even about the basketball, although we played ball every night when Tolu and G were in high school in Bay St. Louis. I mean, we ran every night. When my kids said that they wanted to do XYZ and they were focused on doing XYZ, if you didn't know me back then, I was 500 plus pounds. I think I was up there, might have been over 500 plus pounds. A big motherfucker. Unhealthy like a motherfucker. But when my kids said they wanted to do XYZ, I got my ass in gear and we started working out. I started working out with these kids night, every night, running, training, running the bridge, dribbling the basketball. You name it, we did it. Running the beach, in the gym. But first, homework assistance. We had to make sure homework was done first. So this group of kids, they were some of the smartest kids in the school, intellectually adept beyond belief, and definitely the most athletic. Definitely the most athletic. I'm not trying to leave any of these kids off because all of them that were involved with our program, with the Break of Dawn Youth Enhancement Facility, and what we were doing through um, the Valencia Jones Gymnasium attached to the Boys and Girls Club at the time. My wife was the unit director there. The things we were doing with these kids at no cost, it ain't costing nothing to come hang out with coach, come play some ball, come get some homework assistance, go to Pizza Hut buffet and let's ball out. It ain't cost you nothing to come fuck with us. But it built a whole different sense of who these kids were. And I watched every last one of these kids stay committed to our program, whether we had or we didn't, because they were just enjoying the fact that we were together. Those same kids was one of the most exciting voyages of Bay High basketball that I'd ever seen in a long time. Already got beat by some midgets, Southeast Lauderdale out of Lauderdale County. They got beat by some midgets going into the state playoff round. But that's okay. My point is, every last one of those kids, present day, that we had our hands on, that we touched, and we dealt with their parents and had great relationships and built great relationships with their parents within our own community, regardless of whether I fucked up or not or things went. Guess what? Each one of those kids I can sit there and account for have either finished school. When I say school, I mean college, graduated from college, has their own business, started their own family in the military. They are successful in their own right and they're still knocking it down, still present day. So when you ask me about the time tested methodology of how to do something, of how to do something and getting it accomplished, nah, you can't play with you can't play with me with this. You can't even put anything next to me. I wouldn't give a damn which school system you because my kids went to St. Stanislaus, where I graduated from. Took them out of Stanislaus, put them into a public school system, and they still excelled at a high level. My oldest son G finished every math course they had at the school, calculus, everything, any kind of math they had at school, because they were all taking advanced classes. They weren't taking just regular basic classes. No, they were taking AP courses throughout their entire high school career. Tolu, G, Traylon, all of them that were dealing with our situation, and they excelled at a high level. So what would make you think once they finished high school that they wouldn't go on to do great things in college and coming out of college? I can say without question that I enjoyed watching those young men and women because I can't forget Jemiah Galloway and the twins, you know, and Amari Pittman, some of the ladies that were a part of the program as well. Because the twins, I really don't want to talk about this, but the twins, they doing some great things in the Navy right now. I don't want to tell you what they're doing, but they're floating around the submarines. Come on, straight out of Bay St. Louis. So we have what I would consider national heroes or people that are on track to do great things coming straight out of Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, Pasture Mississippi, Waveland, Mississippi, towns that you never hear about only through destruction because you hear about the Gulf Coast from Camille and Katrina, but you don't hear about all of the extra, the true attributes that come out of our great city. I witnessed it, man. I was in the mix of it, man. And within that whole situation, it extended my life. I done went from 500 pounds. This is a long time ago, of course. From 500 pounds to 250 pounds. My mom actually asked me, "Hey, nigga, you smoking crack?" I remember that day. Because I lost so much weight just running and eating right. And I said, "Nah, man." So I looked at myself in the mirror and I really looked fucked up. I wasn't no nose zipping, no shit like that. It's just that I had lost a lot of weight. My head got real big. My body was small, but I was strong as a motherfucker. I was healthy, but I had lost too much weight. So, um, um, body mass to frame the whole nine yards. No, I had to fill back out. But it didn't take much of that because, I love honey buns. I'm a fat motherfucker. Fat boys love to eat. But I watched that whole development of these kids, man, and still watching these guys do great things. So when it comes to being dedicated, when it comes to commitment, when it comes to showing individuals how to accomplish their goals, it is not an overnight process. It's never been an overnight process. There's nothing that you do when you want sound success, real success, whereas it happens overnight. If it happens overnight, it happens too quick. You don't know the method that it took to get that success and to repeat that process. That's why I love learning. I want to learn. I love taking in information because I know how to process it. I know how to comprehend it and process it and apply it and then execute and then yield the benefits and reap the rewards thereof once I've accomplished the task. And sometimes that's a long term process. Sometimes that's a long term process. Um, if anyone has any questions, comments, concerns, you want to holler at me, I've been sitting there yapping for about an hour, and I really didn't expect it to go that far. I was just gonna get on here for a few minutes and give it to you hot and heavy, but I jumped on my soapbox for real today because I'm kind of fed up with and tired of people pretending that they know how to get things done. And they're tricking people out of their hard earned money because, you know, they can swindle someone who doesn't know better. They can get over on someone who who has no idea of how to get certain things accomplished. And then it disheartens an individual when they find out that that dude just fucked me over for no damn reason. And he ain't know no more than I did. So when it comes to this record label thing, Furrier Records, when it comes to financial literacy, when it comes to this podcast game, and a big shout out to my man ECEO, my brother ECEO, Boss Talk Podcast 101 out of Dallas, Texas. And of course, we're Boss Talk Podcast 101 prime time here in Mississippi. I got to give shouts out to the people that support what it is that we do wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. Um, but I'm about to get off this thing. And if you need me, if you need consultation, if you have artists that are trying to make a way, they're trying to figure it out, they want to protect their intellectual property and they need assistance with that, because that's a whole different conversation on how you register your works to protect yourself, and really earn your royalties and really get out there and brand yourself and promote and market yourself to the masses, hit me up. I tell folks all the time, you're not trying to reach everyone. Everyone's not going to love your music. You only need to reach a percentage of individuals that are rocking with you. You only need to reach a percentage of individuals that are rocking with you. And that's booking shows, merchandising, um, small events, pop up shop, anything that you could think of as an artist that you can do to encourage your base to fall in love with you more and to purchase your music and to purchase your products and to come to your shows. You only need 1,000 in any region that you're in. You only need 1,000. And within that 1,000, over the course of a year, get that 1,000 to spend $100 with you. Whether it's a shirt, a jumpsuit, come to a show, whatever the case may be. If you're doing the math, and some of you that have some insight, that 1,000 people spending that $100 with you over the course of a year, or maybe even over the course of a quarter. And you got four. Every quarter they spend $100 with you, but it's 1,000, just 1,000. I just said over the year, that's $100,000. I'm not saying that's the be all end all, but you can tap into your audience and make an easy $100,000 per year through your artistry with merchandise sales, shows, bookings, anything that you can do to be creative enough to where people say, yeah, man, I'll spend some money with you. You're 1,000. $100,000 a year, man. That's a freebie. I gave you that one for free. And like I tell folks all the time, if you can sit there and show me how to earn just $1, how you go about making just $1, hey man, I'm with you. I'm gonna jump on board, and we're gonna sit there and master the process, repeat the process, and keep on repeating the process. I think I've exhausted the conversation for today. I've exhausted it to the point to where it's now I'm thinking back to time wasted, and I don't have time to waste anymore. I don't have time to waste anymore. Keep in mind, beautiful people, it's about health, wealth, and wellness. Stay dangerous, beautiful people. You've been locked into another great episode of Primetime Pod. Major salute to our guest. And remember, ain't no time like prime time. This is your main man, Big G, with Industry Talk. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to our network, Primetime Pod. And as always, beautiful people, it's about health, wealth, and wellness.
Primetime Pod. Make sure you check it
Wow, why the fuck you think he missing? Excited.
And Centerville a whole lot.
Now, I'm not trying to get a little messy with you.
Time is money.
out. There go